I was trying to figure out,
Yeah, let's go with the
yeah.
I feel like Tampa one is always left out.
All right, Bob, we are live and ready to go when you are.
Okay, perfect. So we are going to start the December 7th, 2023 zoning board of appeals meeting. It is 7 o'clock. Great. With that, I'll start out with a little housekeeping, explain to you what we're going to do today, some of the things that can happen during this process, and then we'll get started. So first of all, emergency exits are on the other side of the atrium and either side of the boardroom. If anything should happen, luckily that's never happened to date. The process of going through the day. We will call your application or applications. We will have you come up to the podium. When you're at the podium, I will ask you to speak loud and clear into the microphone. We'll ask you to state your name and address for the record. We will ask you a series of questions based on the testimony that's been supplied to us in the application. Some of these questions may seem funny, may seem weird. We are asking them all for a reason. If we get a little too long-winded, I will interrupt and ask us to stop to make sure that we keep everything on track with the information we need as a board. And I guess that's about it. Is there anything that I missed? Oh, mute your cell phones. That's the one I would. With that, we'll start out with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. There's a few formalities first that we do up here, so bear with us for 1 minute. We'll start out with a roll call. So Robert Peckham, present. Beth Mossworth.
Here.
John Miglerini's absent. Christian Chamberlain's absent. Heather Robinson.
Here.
Tim Harrington is absent. And Aaron Lehman.
Present.
With that, we have a quorum. I would like to ask for a motion for the meeting minutes from November.
Mr. Chairman, in regards to the meeting minutes for November 1st, 2023, I move to approve.
A second.
Oh, geez.
I'm gonna give that one a back. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the meeting minutes carry from last month. With that, I guess we can get started on the application. So we have two applications for the first visit here. It's 2023-099 and 105. This is for what is it? 33. Thank you. Kenwick Drive. Come on up to the podium. You must be Karen. Nice to see you, Karen. Karen, I will, as I said earlier, please state your name and address loud and clear for the microphone. If it's out of line, you can do it.
Karen Knickerbocker, 33 Kenwick Drive.
Welcome, Karen. So as I said, we're going to ask you a couple of questions, and I spoke to you earlier on the phone. Please tell us a little bit about the shed that you have purchased. How large is it? What's it made out of? What is it sitting on right now?
I have a plastic shed. It is sitting on wood and some stone to try to level it off. I don't remember the dimensions of it. I'm sorry.
It's 120 square feet.
120 square feet.
There you go.
Sorry.
I see it in the notes. That's
Okay.
fine. What type of things do you put in the shed?
Well, the reason we bought the shed was we bought a riding lawnmower, and we had to buy a riding lawnmower because I hurt my knee and I could no longer mow my lawn. And my boyfriend is mowing my lawn, and he is disabled and he shouldn't be doing it either. So we got a riding lawnmower, and in order to, we have to put it someplace. So we got a shed, and we got one with two doors, side door where you could drive right in there, and the front doors where you could actually store your other lawnmower, your lawn furniture, your wheelbarrows, and everything else. That's why we needed a little bit bigger shed.
Okay. You made a comment now that I didn't notice earlier. I went in front of your house to look at this, but I didn't go into your yard. I saw the signs and everything. explain to me a little bit more about the base that it's on today, and just for the sake of the board's sake, I did speak with Ms. Knickerbocker earlier. And said that the order of putting the shed in was out of order compared to getting a permit first ahead of time, so this is a mistake that we'll, just be aware of. And so we now know that it's there, but what is it on? So tell me more about that base and how,
It's on a plywood base.
is that dug into the ground? Is that just laid on the ground so that it has something?
He put some stone underneath it and put the wood on top.
Now the biggest, so you're requesting two variances. One is the size of the shed and one is the offset from your property line. And tell me why, and tell the board why it is currently against the property line.
There is no level spot in my lawn. All of our lawns, we back up, my house backs up to the wooded area that backs up to John Street. And there's a gradual slope, and some of it is not so gradual. Just looking for the flattest, most even area that we could find. And this was it.
Okay. What happens if is it still flat if that shed is requested to be moved out 2 or 3 feet from I'm gonna call it the fence line, the property line?
You could see where it actually dips. The yard dips. It would be difficult and wobbly to try to get that in another area.
Even 2 feet out?
I think it would be because there's, like I said, there's the whole yard slopes and it's all very uneven. You could just see where the water runs off from back, it just, digs a little bit more gullies. And for over there is like the only flat area right where the fence is.
So is there any other option for movement of that shed?
No.
Okay. Are there any questions from the board members?
Yeah, so, is this like entirely new shed on your property?
Yes.
Okay. Do you plan on adding any electricity to the shed?
No.
And-
Just storage.
And just for sake of saying this, it's been there for a couple of months.
Yep.
Again, slightly out of order from what is normal, but it's not brand new as in like this week or something.
Right, yeah.
It's in use.
Okay.
The instrument survey that you submitted had a prior in-ground pool.
Yes.
How long has that been removed?
I don't remember. It's been a very long time.
And how-
15, 17 years
Was it done before you moved in, after you moved in?
after.
Was there, it indicates that there was a shed there at 1.2.
There was an old metal shed that was falling apart.
That area in particular, is that still in a sloped area?
Yes. Well, where the shed was just outside the pool and it did tilt.
Was that, you may have just said this, but I didn't hear it. Was that shed that Beth is referring to a large shed or smaller than the one that you have now?
Probably about the same size. It was an old metal shed with the big door.
3/4 of it's.
Yeah, it's pretty small. It was,
Relative
looks
to
like
the-
9 by
6 by,
6 by 9, maybe.
yeah.
For 90-ish square feet.
I know you bought the shed from one of the primary reasons is because of the running lawnmower. Do you see the size shed suiting all of your needs in
Yes,
the future?
yes.
Any other questions?
No further questions.
I want to ask more. So with that, I would like to know, and let you just hold for 1 minute. If there's anyone else in the audience that has any comments or questions on Zoom or in person. Oh, pose. Oh, you do? Okay. So if I'll have you step aside for just a moment. Perfect. Come on up. Please state your name and address for the record.
Barbara Keller, and I live at 71 Kenwick Drive.
Barbara, where is 71 compared to this one? Like across the street or? a
No,
couple-
it's probably 4 houses down.
Okay,
I got the letter. It was kind of funny. and just, I put up a shed last year. Yes, I did get a permit. But,
Good to know.
I can attest to the fact of, the yard sloping, I've talked to Karen. I'm here really just to support her. It's not an eyesore. You can't see it from the street. It looks, matter of fact, I think there's bushes in front of it. There's not really, you can't even tell that it's there. And I know my yard slopes. It was very hard for me to determine where to put my shed.
Okay,
It's on the other side, but, I know she's had it there. It helps her. I guess that's all I have to say.
and you don't have a problem with it.
No, I don't have a problem with it at all. Looks
you.
great.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And is there anyone else that would like to, oh, you're good. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak to this? Okay, please come back up. I will also mention for the record that there was a letter sent in from a neighbor that is in opposition to this. Does not like the size of it or the placement of it. So with that, I'll pause for a minute for the board members. Do you guys have any change of opinion based on what you're hearing for the offset? I think we are in agreement for the size. Is that accurate? Are you comfortable with that? Is there any question or comment about the offset that based on what we were talking about earlier? You want to stick to it?
Mhm.
You're okay with it? Okay, so I think since we don't have consensus, that one will have to be postponed.
Well, if you have an agreement, it's what?
What size?
Yeah,
But it's not, so let's see
Wait,
this.
this is the one that can't be postponed, right?
Only the shed size can't be
Oh,
postponed. I don't want to postpone either. But if we have to, we have to. So, the question that I'm referring to is, we do not have agreement on the offset of that shed on the board. So
What is offset? Where it's
how-
located?
the zero setback. So we do not have agreement on that. We do want some offset on there. We want to see 2-3 feet of offset, so move that 2 or 3 feet. There are reasons for that. Some of them are, fire marshal related, other inconsistencies that happen with maps compared to what actually happens. We sometimes have issues with, property line disputes, things of that nature. We like to see an offset. With that said, we are slightly diminished in size today for our board because of some other outside issues. And we need to have consensus 100% or we can't approve it. So I think we are all in agreement. We would accept the size of the shed, no problem. But we would have to postpone this meeting till next month, which is something I told you might happen. Because of the issue that we have here. And so unless you can move that shed, if you can move that shed 2-3 feet, we'd have to agree on this. The board in theory wants 3 feet instead of 4. So they'd give you some relief, 25% relief. They may accept a little more if you think you can do it because of some of the hardship that you have with the property itself, the topography. Do you think you have the capability to move it 2 feet, 3 feet?
I do not. I wouldn't even know how to do that.
So with that, we have only 2 choices. Well, we only have 1 choice. We have to table it.
Mr.
So-
Chairman,
Yes,
if I just a little more information. If we table it and next month it gets denied, then you're gonna have to move it to 4 feet.
you will have
Keep-
no choice.
You won't have any choice.
Well, that's a good point. Thank you for clarity.
Mhm.
Let me explain that variation from what he said compared to what we can do today. Today, I think we have a board that would accept some offset, even though I know that's a hard thing, which is difficult. We would accept some offset, 2 feet, 3 feet. We'd have to discuss that in more depth.
it'd still be a relief of the variance.
It's still a relief of the variance from 4 feet, so, but it would have to move. If we do it next month, there is 2 potential outcomes. Either we deny it and it has to be 4 feet. Or we approve it and I'm sorry, 3 outcomes. We approve it the same way we're talking about it today. Or maybe the rest of the board says she can have it at 0 feet like you're requesting. So it's an unknown. And it's a little bit of a chance you have to take or a decision you have to make, I should say. So, do you, both of them, I understand it's not an easy decision either way. Today you would have to move it something. Next month you might be able to get it based on what the rest of the board says. What would you like us to do based on that comment?
I would like to come back next month.
Okay.
I will look into seeing if I could get it moved.
It's
And-
not easy, but it is something that is, unfortunately, the order of events was not correct. So it's unfortunately where we sit.
And it's not a good time to be moving sheds in the snow.
I don't disagree with that statement. Go ahead.
Having with that,
Mhm.
is there a time frame of when these have to be, like executed?
Once the shed permit's issued, it's good for 6 months. So
So you'd have
technically she'll have 6 months after issuance to call us for a final inspection.
Okay,
Which would be 6 months after January.
okay,
So
so then snow might not be an issue.
I hope not.
Yeah, right? Okay.
June.
Thank you.
So give me just 1 minute because I do have to change some of this here.
I don't know much about sheds and building sheds, but I worry about moving a plastic shed that we put together.
The potential answer, even though it's not a nice answer for an applicant like yourself, is that if it was put together, it could be disassembled and moved. It's not ideal, but it is, it is very possible. I have done it personally. I moved one from one house to another. And it's not fun, but it was possible.
Or you have to lift the whole platform, you might have to.
Get 20 people to do it.
lift it,
You know.
just move it over.
They're not very heavy when they're empty,
And they're
but they're
in plastic.
Yeah,
not in plastic.
I mean,
it's still
if
not
it's
easy.
not. You may be able to drag it on the stone bed if you have something to pull it, if it's empty.
Yeah.
But I can't speak to the integrity of the shed. But, yeah.
Of
Um,
course,
Sorry.
I didn't close it,
Sorry,
so
I should need to come to the-
you gotta come up to the microphone. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. The question I have, just because I'm back here listening, so if the shed's gonna be approved,
Mhm.
right, as far as the size, but
Mhm.
she's got, if she waits today, if she can find a way to move it, would she have 6 months from today in order to try to move it?
Yes.
And
Well, it'll
so,
be sometime this month.
okay, so, but in January, she could take the chance of the shed's still approved, but she can do, what is it, 2 to 3 feet?
No, she could have 0 offset, if depending on the rest of the board. She could have 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot. Or no, or we could say no, and it has to be 4 feet.
Okay. So if she waits, that she's getting the chance of waiting where the board might say 0 offset, which probably would
possible.
not maybe happen.
No, it really,
Okay,
you don't know. It's
okay.
it's 7 individuals at that point that have to
Okay.
decide. So it's not easy to tell you what, I don't know what the answer would be.
You-
Okay.
You have to have forest, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it has to be 4 in the same boat. Once
Okay.
you get 4, then you have the answer.
Gotcha. Okay, all right. I was just trying to understand if you've got 6 months from today, or you take the chance of doing 0 offset with 4 members waiting till January, but I got it. Okay,
Could
thank
you
you.
State your name again for the record.
It's Barbara Keller and it's Kellar.
Thank you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
And I will need one, so with that, we can close this application and hold on a minute, I gotta finish a little bit of paperwork and then we'll wrap that up for the size of the shed. So that. I don't have to-
Nice.
Just a quick comment, Heather, can you shift your microphone over just a touch? The laptop is kind of blocking your voice.
Oh, okay. Is that
That's
better?
better. Yep, thank you.
Hey. I thought I was gonna get my tablet back today, okay?
That's their bringing money.
So, sorry about the delay there.
okay.
First of all, I will table 2023-105. And with regards to 2023-099 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered all relevant information and has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to the nearby properties. The size of the shed is minimal in context with the rest of their neighborhood. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible method as the shed has already been purchased. The variance requested is not substantial. This is a typical modern size shed, and the variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. The shed size would not affect the environment negatively at all. The difficulty related to the variance was self-created. It was an error in the process which has caused this application. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented.
I'll second.
Seconded by Heather. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So the motion carries for the size of the shed. And again, we will postpone until next month for the other application. And I'm sorry that we have to do that, but this is how we have to roll, and you'll have to be in contact with the building department to finish the application requirement for the shed. Okay, so there's still a little bit of paperwork for the size of the shed.
Okay, I guess I don't understand. I have to fill out something else for the building?
So there was an application that you filled out,
Mhm.
which sparked a zoning variance because it was larger than the approved size. That application hasn't been approved and put into your hands yet because it's not done because we're here today. You will get a letter saying that this has been approved, this one application, and then you have to finish the paperwork for that
Oh,
application.
okay.
Well, we'll have to wait until after the next month. We can't issue that permit yet.
Right, because it has.
Because it has to be tied to the 105.
Yes. yes,
Okay.
Correct.
So you'll get a letter for one, but we'll go for the other one in a month.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
We will now go to application 2023-102, which is at 245 River Meadow Drive. Welcome.
Hi,
You can move it.
Ah.
State your name and address, please, for the record.
my name is Nito. Address is 245 River Meadow Drive.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So you're here in front of us today because you're requesting a 6-foot tall fence in a front yard where 3 foot is allowed under town code. Can you explain the purpose of adding the 6-foot fence to your property?
Yeah, my neighbor has the 6-foot fence currently. I would like to put one next to it. Looks good better to match there.
Is it the same pictures that we have from the application?
This is my neighbor's fence.
Yeah, if you give it to
If
us.
you could bring it up here, but we have to keep it, okay?
Oh,
thank you.
thank you.
Speak in the microphone.
Okay, just a second.
Let's get a second. Do you want to see it? Mhm. I think it's the same thing.
Now, so you're just gonna have you would like to have a 6-foot stockade fence, wood
Mm.
stained,
Yeah,
okay,
next to them.
yes.
If I put a 3 foot, it don't look good.
And she said the 3 foot wouldn't look good.
Yep, yep.
You have more questions?
So you're asking for the fence. Is it to hide your neighbor's fence? Like, what is it? What's the purpose of the fence? Is it just
Because
for?
that one is Ras old, but I talked to them, they said it's okay, so we get a new one.
So you want it to look nicer.
Yeah, because that's one very old, and but if I feel like if I put the slower one, it don't look good.
Okay. And are you looking for, cause I know you have a house in front, is it for privacy concerns or?
Yeah, look good in the front. I maybe put the small one just to put flower, tree. But on the side, I like to match the neighbor. It will look more prettier.
Okay.
I would like to ask a question where the fence will be 6 foot tall. Where will the fence be 6 foot tall?
Um,
So if you're looking at the house from the road,
mhm.
we look down the driveway and your house is there. The left side, you're gonna put a fence.
Yeah, well, look inside the left side. It's just next to that fence. That fence is almost broken.
Yes.
Yeah.
On your picture, your application that you gave us,
Mm.
you also have looking from the house this time, looking from the house to the road, you also put it on the left side of the house and across going towards the other fence, blocking, what I would say is probably blocking the house in front of you.
But that one, I don't put a 6 foot. I put the small so I can put flower.
Kevin, do we need to have a variance for that? I mean, because her application shows
Yeah.
6 foot in both sides. It doesn't differentiate. Do we need to just say that or basically just say it's along the driveway?
Well, would it be the east side?
Yeah, well, it would be anything forward of the house.
So any fence forward of the house needs a variance?
Yeah,
Even
it is
before-
a little unique because of
The
the
flag. pole.
flag,
yeah.
yeah, the way that it's shaped, but
So she needs it for 3 foot and for 6 foot.
no, forward of the house can be 3 feet.
So she only needs it on the east side of the driveway, because she's saying on the west side and I'll call it the north, although it's behind the other house. That's only gonna be 3 foot is what she's testifying. The reason she wants
okay.
6 foot on the east side, assuming I'm looking
Yep.
northeast up with you.
Mhm.
Is because there's another fence there that the neighbor has that's rotted and deteriorated.
Okay. Yeah,
So should we just identify that is what I'm saying?
yeah, I would identify where it's gonna be located at 6
Okay.
foot.
So I'm gonna have you come up to me for a moment. I see your map. This is your house. You have blue and this. This will be 3 feet?
The only, this one is the
6.
and this one is green.
What about this?
This one, I think I come to the, so it's in the back, I can have 6 feet, right?
That's not in the back though.
No,
So-
here, I don't need.
This is 3 feet. Okay, so we're fine with it. I just wanted to be clear.
Okay.
And 3, so I can put flower.
Yes, and it will look beautiful.
Yeah.
This, we are gonna note on the resolution that this is gonna be 6 feet.
Yeah.
Not this.
No.
Okay, I'll have you go back.
That is the.
So I'm gonna say it out loud.
East property.
Yeah. We are only gonna have I'm saying it for the record, okay? We are only gonna have a 6 foot fence on the east property line of the house in the front yard. On the west and then I guess I'd call it the northwest in the application, that will be 3 foot fence. So ahead of the house will be 3 foot fence.
It's the northwest.
Yeah, north and
Left
northwest,
property line, yeah.
the north and west, yeah. Right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Are we good with that for here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other questions from members of the audience? Nope. Okay, with that, we can close this application, so wait. Once you're ready, we're good. No problem.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, with regard to application number ZBA 2023-102 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered all relevant information and has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now, therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties. Other residents in the neighborhood have fences in the front of their properties. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative, as the applicant is looking to get privacy from east neighbor. The variance requested is not substantial. The variance, or the applicant is requesting a 2-foot variance. Isn't that 3 foot? Yeah, 3-foot variance. Where we have granted the same variance in the neighborhood before. The variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. The difficulty relating to the variance was self-created, as the applicant is requesting to add a 6-foot fence to their property line. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented. And be it further resolved that the zoning board shall, that this approval shall be subject to the following conditions. The 6-foot fence will be on the east property line of the house. The north and west property line will be 3 foot.
Just a procedural thing. Did you ask for any comments?
I did.
You did. Okay, I didn't hear you.
No problem.
Second? I'll second that.
Yeah, we were sort of stunned for a second. There. Seconded by Beth. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The motion carries. You'll
It'll
get-
look nice.
It'll look nice. Thank you. Have a nice day. Don't forget you got a phone call. 20, now we're gonna have application 2023-0, or I'm sorry, 103, which is for Panera Bread. Hello,
Hi.
welcome.
Laura Baranis from Premier Sign Systems, 10XL Drive, representing Panera Bread.
Thank you.
They originally asked for 2 signs, one for the front, one for the back, but only one was allowed, so we filed for a variance. It's kind of a strange setup, the way the building is, because when you're on the street, that's the back of the building. So you don't really see that they're Panera Bread. The sign and the drive-through and everything is on the other side in the parking lot facing the little plaza there.
Yep.
So they really do need that second sign because they don't identify from the road without it.
Yep.
Can I ask you a question? Is
Yeah.
that front sign on the building right now?
Yes, but it's on the other side, so it's in the back in the parking lot, so you don't see it.
Cause I drove by it today and I'm like, they don't have any signage yet, but they're open. Okay.
Well, see, they always have to put their sign over the entrance, and the
Oh.
main entrance is on the other side of the building in the parking lot.
Okay.
So you don't see a sign on the building at all unless you actually go into the parking lot and around the corner.
Okay.
So they,
The sign is actually to the inside of the plaza.
yes,
where the
facing the
The hobby.
Hobby Lobby and stuff. So when you drive by, you come up down the road, you just see the back of the building. You don't even know what it is. So
I just thought there wasn't any signs on there,
I-
to be quite honest with you. Okay.
I knew it was too. I just, when the guys installed everything, I hadn't been out there since, and I pulled in there and I was like, this is a little strange, but I understand why they do it that way. That was probably the way the property was set up for them, for that lot that they're taking. And like I say, when they do their building, their sign has to go over their entrance. So that's probably why they initially asked for 2 signs to start with.
It's actually a third sign because the other one's out at the pole.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah.
the Monument.
These are the same size or same signs, front and back, correct?
Yes.
Are they lit?
Yes.
Is there a time?
Um,
line for the being illuminated? Is it shut off at night when the business? is
I'm not
closed?
really sure. I mean, if there was to be one, I mean, there could be one. You know, it's with the town. I don't think it's really facing anything that would bother because it's pretty commercial right there. But you know, if there was a time limit that the signs had to be turned off after they were closed, and I think Panera closes by 9 or 10. So
All, sorry, and all three of these signs are within the square footage limit of the signs, so there's no variance for having more signs.
as far as I know, the variance was just for a second sign.
I believe that's true.
Yeah, they're not that big. so.
And the building sizable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you know if this is Panera Bread's typical signage package?
Yes, it is. Yeah. And the signs are only like 55 square feet, so they're not really huge.
Right.
But yes, anytime a Panera Bread goes up, the sign goes over the entrance. And like I say, this lot's a different situation where normally you would see the front from the street, but you see the back from the street. So
It's a little odd.
I think it's probably because they had to have the drive-through and they didn't really have any room in the front by the street to do it. So they had to reverse everything and do it in the back of the lot.
So they came in for the setback variance.
Right.
A while ago.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, just to clarify, will all the pieces of the sign be lit? Like all the lettering and the logo, or just parts of it?
Well, no, it's the logo will be lit and Panera Bread would be lit. And then drive-through, just the white letters would be lit on that.
Okay. Yeah, I think it'll look good.
Any other questions for board members?
I have no further questions.
Any questions from members of the audience? Okay, so with that, I think we can close this application. Again, it'll take just a moment.
Mr. Chairman, in regards to application ZBA 2023-103 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has 1, duly advertised and held a public hearing, 2, has considered all relevant information, and 3, has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties. There are similar businesses on the road with multiple signage due to geographical location of traffic flow. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. The third sign is best option to provide business name exposure to the public viewed by road frontage. The variance is not substantial as it's within the square foot limits of the total signage. The variance will not have a negative effect on the physical or environmental conditions. The difficulty relating to the variance was self-created. And be it further resolved, based above the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented.
I'll second.
Seconded by Heather. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion's carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.
Next, we have, did you have a question? Okay, so we're good right now, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Application 2023-104 for address 94 Patricia Drive. Come on up.
Come on down.
Guess what I'm gonna make you do? State your name and address.
Hi, my name's Philip Gould. I live at 94 Patrician Drive.
Welcome.
So, you're looking to add, are you looking to add a second shed? to the
I
Property?
I have the shed already there, but it doesn't fall into the square footage. So a house actually burnt down on the corner for me. So that's why this is all, that shed has actually been there for about 4 years.
How many? 4 or 40?
4 years.
4 years, okay. Do you have just 2 sheds on the property? Cause on the,
Just 2.
okay. So you
The way
have,
my property is, I have a very hilly backyard. So the back corner where there's one is the only flat spot there, and the corner that's up on the side of my yard is really the only other flat spot.
okay. So you don't have,
Which one is the newest one?
The one closest to the house on the left-hand side, if you're looking at the property. You can't even see it from the road,
Yeah, I only saw the one on the right,
right?
in the backyard.
Yeah.
Is there a pipe coming out of that?
I was
Okay.
gonna run electric through there, but I don't have any electric in either one of my sheds.
When you look at that shed from the street, like looking down your driveway, I guess. Behind the chain link fence, there's something in front of it. What is that?
Oh, it's on the side of it.
I'm sorry, front, yes, it would be on the side of it, I'm sorry, but front,
It's,
like.
it's,
as
it's a light pole,
light bulb, okay.
but there's no light pole on it. I actually, built a vertical axis wind turbine that I was gonna put on that.
Cool,
Haven't done that yet. Still in my garage.
got it.
So just for clarification, the sheds that are currently on the property are the ones is this one, which is to the left. And this one back here.
Let me,
there's-
he can't see what you're pointing
I
at.
know, there's two,
Let me say,
Heather, can you bring up the application page number 5, please?
Absolutely, one sec.
Okay, thank you.
so one of them's in yellow on the northeast of the property.
Right.
And then one's green.
To the west. Well, that.
This is on the map.
Yeah.
Do you have 3 sheds on your property?
Okay, yeah, because we're showing 3 on the survey, so
Yeah.
just want to clarify.
And just for clarity, on Google Maps also, you can.
So the one in yellow, it's in the very back corner. That's my original shed.
Okay.
That's what I did, like,
Can you talk, I'm sorry, can you talk into the microphone, please? Thank you.
the one in yellow is my original shed. That's the one we did 12, probably longer than that, 20 years ago.
Okay.
The one on the right side, the little square box is the newest one. The one in green, is a swimming pool for my dog. I have a service dog. So I bought him a pool. I made him a deck. We were going to do that. I don't need a variance for that. I'm moving that up front.
Okay,
But you said something to me that was confusing. Did that sound confusing to you?
the one to the left is the new shed. That's the new one. The one back there is the one that he's had for 12 years. And this actually it says
98 square foot.
98 square foot. That's not a shed. That's a deck for your dog
Yeah.
pool.
Oh,
So we went to the Avon flea market. They had a nice pool there because he has really big
Oh.
claws, ripped it in half. So I saw something nice, and since he's a service dog for my daughter, I said he needs a pool. So I built him a deck, and every board I put on there, he jumped on there to test to see if it's okay.
If he breaks this next one, do you?
Oh, he can't.
Okay,
He can't.
I was gonna say they have stock tanks too.
No.
They're metal. All right.
But figured he
everybody-
deserves something. He protects our daughter, so I figured he needs something. So
well, that makes sense. So.
And
I-
you,
you-
I'm sorry, you have a pool too?
I'm not, yes, but I'm not finishing that.
You're not finishing that?
No. It was we don't have all the time in the world to talk about this. It's an in-ground, above-ground pool I was building myself. I have it all built. I'm not finishing. I'm not putting the walls in. I'm not doing anything else. I'm gonna fill it back in. It
Okay. Fair enough.
was supposed to be for her, but she's better now, so she doesn't need it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Now, just out of curiosity, you went for 2, I mean, obviously you added an additional shed, but did you think about adding just one large shed, taking down the old one and just doing one larger shed?
There's no room. I mean, I would love to add on to my garage. And when I do that, at some point in time, I will probably get rid of both of my sheds, but
Okay,
I financially couldn't afford to do that when I did the first one. And this other shed is actually, it's a machine crate that I got from work
okay.
it's actually steel. I cladded it with plywood, put vinyl siding on it, made a nice roof for it.
Okay. What's it sitting on?
Pier blocks
Fair blocks, okay.
and gravel. There's
Gravel.
gravel down, there's pier blocks down. It hasn't moved.
Okay.
It's like 9 foot in on my property line, so I don't need anything else for that. I actually own 9 foot past it. I brought it in, so I didn't have any problems.
What do you store in your shed?
Toys. Lawnmower in the other one. I have a couple ladders in this one that's on the side. I think I have my 4-wheeler in there that I haven't used in 3 years.
Oh, boy. Okay. So yeah, it's fall.
Yeah, they're actually both full and I actually have to clean them out, but then I like to do stuff, so.
Okay, now the size of the shed that you have already for this application, is this shed going to meet all of your needs?
Yep.
Okay, and you're not running electricity
Oh,
or
no,
anything to
no.
the shed? Okay.
Any
That's
questions?
never the intention. I just need to store all my stuff because
Right.
you know what they say, happy wife, happy life, right?
What's wrong with that? What do you, any questions?
The only question I have might be for us on the application. Because this is a little confusing as to what, I think this survey and what's noted on it is a little confusing as to what he's actually
Would you,
asking.
I'd like to just have him point at it. Would
Yeah,
you
that's
do me a
fine.
favor and go over to the screen here?
I think I understand what he wants.
Points to the, I want to ask three things. One, the shed that I was referring to that I could see from the street is designated in yellow.
Yep.
Green next to it is a pad, I'm gonna call it a pad on the ground. That's not the other shed,
Yeah,
but that's not in question today. Point to where the other shed is. Okay. Got it. Yep, perfect. I just wanted to be sure.
Before this gentleman leaves, can you have him mark up one file copy for me so I can clear up the survey map we have on file for this application?
Could you bring a copy for us?
I got one.
Oh, Kevin's got one.
Thank you.
Yep.
We'll have you draw on this to be sure we're saying the right thing, because it is not clear on
Okay.
the
Uh,
application. That seems a little confusing.
When I applied for all these, I was doing all of that, so I could understand.
we just don't want to give you the wrong thing. So
Right.
that when you do it, it's not right.
Okay,
So, are there any questions from members of the audience?
better
You have a
not be.
question? You're his neighbor, I know that.
If you want to come, you have to talk.
You gotta say your name and address too.
I'm Jonathan Lander. I'm Phil. My backyard backs to his backyard.
Yep.
If there's any question in the integrity of this shed that he built, this thing is like hurricane proof. I watched him through my backyard. We would conversate and I mean, like, he's awesome with everything he does. So if there's any question on the integrity, that thing ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
So that's all I wanted to say.
Can you
on
say
it.
your
It
address?
doesn't bother me at all, the shed.
They also say your name and address.
My address, 24 Beaconsfield Road, Rochester, New York, 14623.
And your birthday is?
Why? I almost did that
And your
too.
name again, sir?
Name again.
Jonathan Lander.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Perfect.
Thank
And you'll be called up in a minute too, Jonathan. So I think with that, are we okay with this?
I just need a minute.
And besides the annotating the paperwork, we're.
Okay.
So we just need a minute. So why don't we have you do that?
Want me to do that now?
You want to go over to Kevin
Yeah.
here? And he'll have you, or he'll come to you, I guess, so. Sorry. I will. Absolutely, because it's gonna be some clarity.
Yeah.
And we'll see what he says, then we'll have to decide. Are you good, Kevin? Okay. And we'll still need a minute to finish the papers and then we'll read up what we gotta read. Heather, do I have to mention the one that's postponed until next month for U of R?
No, you do not.
Hey, Kevin.
Mhm.
This next one with the camper. Does it have to be connected? Front driveway to the back? I guess I'll call it pad, even though it's huge right now. Does it have to be connected?
I don't know if the code specifically says contiguous, but
That's the intent.
the intent is driveway extensions are an
Wall.
extension of the driveway to the, next to the garage.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I better put any word.
All right.
Good.
Yes, I'm good. Mr. Chairman, with regard to application number ZBA 2023-104 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered all relevant information and has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties, as houses in the neighborhood have sheds equaling to the total size the applicant is asking. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative, as the applicant cannot financially have any other feasible alternative to provide the storage needs. The variance requested is substantial. However, in the applicant's testimony, this was the only feasible option to suit his needs. The variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. The difficulty relating to the variance was self-created, as the applicant is in need of additional storage, and be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented.
Mr. Chairman,
Aaron, you're too slow.
Yeah.
Beth seconded that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And we have one last application tonight, 2023-107. The address is 24 Beaconsfield Road. Beaconsfield? Yeah. And we are gonna, even though you said your name and address, I need you to do that again.
Jonathan Lander, 24 Beaconsfield Road.
Jonathan, Aaron's gonna ask most of the questions up front, but I'm gonna tell you, we'll ask some of these questions, but there's a few things that I'd like to propose to you or talk about before he does that. So you have a little bit of an odd situation here because you have this large, I'll call it a pad in the backyard, whatever the right word is, asphalt, concrete, whatever it is. It's separated by a handful of feet from your fence to the backyard, from the, I should say, from the driveway to the backyard pad, there's this gap. Okay, so it's
okay.
grass.
Yeah.
So so with that piece of information in mind, your problem that you're here to address is the fact that you have this camper in the backyard, in the corner, let's say in the corner roughly. And the fire marshal, or I believe is who gave the citation for you that sparked this, no pun intended. It was code enforcement? I thought it was
Code
fire.
enforcement.
It was code enforcement. I believe you can get away with not having a problem here if you were to just, appropriately put gravel in that gap and park the trailer right next to the house. In
Okay.
other words, if you parked it right next door to the house, as compared to the back corner, the garage, I'm sorry, right next to the garage. If you did that, that is not against code, that's allowed.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Now let me just a scenario. Say I had a fire in my backyard, say backside of my garage. Wouldn't it make more sense to have that camper off of the house, away from the house, so that they could get through instead of go around my camper, or say, you get what I'm saying? Wouldn't that cause a bigger issue being closer to said gate, house, whereas if it's off of it, it's out of the way. You know what I mean?
I see the logic in that statement. I don't know. I'm not in the fire, side of it.
I get you. Do you see what I'm,
I see your point. but
Yeah.
The rules are very clearly written in the code. Understanding your point. I'm not
Yeah, I
saying
get
it's
you.
dumb. You could put it right there without asking us for permission.
okay.
Uh,
Still behind my fence, correct?
Yeah, sure.
Just move it up 10 feet.
And it has to be continuous from your driveway to the pad.
It has to have.
So the 2 feet of grass is the problem?
So the section of yard that you have,
Can I see that? Can I come up?
Come on up.
I'm doing it upside down. So if this was,
Yeah, so that's like 2 feet. Just put stone down?
if that was stone,
Okay.
according to what is currently for zoning, you could park your camper here.
Okay.
No need for a variance.
Okay.
Is that correct to say that?
Yeah, so what we're looking at is a driveway
Now,
extension.
just for the microphone. have you go back.
Yep. So the area adjacent to the garage,
Yeah,
code allows you to stone that,
okay,
at least stone, could be paved if you wish.
Mhm.
And it's called the driveway extension.
okay.
And code also goes on to state that the design for that, or the intent is for parking of a camper, a boat, on a trailer, not a motor vehicle, unless it's like an RV, a motorhome is fine, but not for daily drivers.
Okay.
And is providing that the camper is parked adjacent to the garage, not behind the garage.
And not in the
Obviously,
corner.
if your camper is 28 feet long and your garage is 24 feet,
So be
it
it.
sticks, so be it. But,
I got what you're saying.
and then you would not need a variance. And just to go on the state that any other vehicle can't be parked back there either. So looking at the Google map, there's a
You
car
have a
back,
red
and
car back
that,
there.
when that was taken, who knows, but,
Yeah,
so.
there's like 4 or 5 cars throughout the summer, but I do the demolition derbies, so I just put them back there and tear them apart real quick. But they're only there for like a week or 2 at a time, so. But that's what that said car in questioning is. That car is, I'm assuming, long gone. It's done. I was done with it.
So just following up on that statement, if you are willing to properly fill in if it's a 2-foot gap, the 2-foot gap appropriately, and I say appropriately, meaning there is rules of how you do that with crushed stone, you can park it right there and we don't have to talk anymore.
Okay, so now my gate swings in toward the back of my house. The gate's 12 foot, so am I okay to stay off of that swing at least?
I don't know where your arc starts, and I don't know if there's a way to reverse that swing. So if that's part of the problem too, then we still have to go through with this variance. But to be perfectly honest, I'd rather cancel the variance.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Just put stone in there and move it up.
And figure out how to deal with the
gate
swing of the
issue.
gate.
I'll be all right. I'll figure it out.
So if you are willing to do that,
How long do I have? It's cold out. I can
Well,
move it up
you would have-
immediately if that's the issue.
Well, you're not getting a variance, so,
I can move it up
we've
immediately.
got a ticket.
right.
Code
So the issue is a code violation that you received.
That was received on 10/10/23 was the letter.
I mean, obviously your inspection date had passed already from 10/19, but since you're applied to zoning board, that gets pushed out.
Yeah.
If we cancel the variance, then
This stands,
the violation stands,
but he can move it. The problem is there's still a 2-foot gap.
right, and right. So basically your camper would have to be in the driveway or on the stone pad directly adjacent to the garage. Then there's no issues.
Okay.
It would have to be moved immediately.
So, okay, so can I move it immediately? I'll just pull it forward tomorrow. And then can I have like till the spring to here's the other thing. This camper's for sale. It's listed for sale right now. Like, I don't even camp. I think we went 1 time this year. So that thing might be gone next week. You know what I mean?
So what we're proposing is that you don't have to have a variance.
Okay,
So if you wanted to, say you sell this, get another camper, whatever,
no more
you-
campers.
well, it's a driveway extension.
Okay,
So if you put it in your driveway, sell it next week, that doesn't matter to us at all.
Okay.
So if you're keeping it and it's not selling or whatever, then you would have, and you want to move it
You
out of the
should move it.
driveway.
You should at least move it to the side of the house.
Yes.
now. To the
Okay,
Then you
I'll do
have to
that.
put the
I got no
post-
problem moving that. And then as soon as, if it's still there for whatever reason, if as soon as the weather breaks, I'll just put stone in that little grass, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. By then I'll probably just get rid of it out of the yard and put it somewhere else by then. The reason being, I don't want to move it is because if somebody calls me at the drop of a dime and says, hey, I'd like to come look at your camper, I don't want to have to set up and go somewhere and
Agreed.
dust it all down. It's just, it's convenient for sale for me. I understand the laws and the code and all that, but that's, and I believe, are you the gentleman I spoke to earlier?
Yes.
As far as my pad goes, I was explaining to him, like 50% of that pad's getting removed this spring anyways. I'm putting grass in there, I'm grassing it out and all that, so.
So with that, how do I,
He needs to formally withdraw his application.
oh yeah, that's right. You have to say, I withdraw my application.
Am I gonna get my check back?
Nope.
Unfortunately, no.
Sorry.
I formally withdraw my application.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we can close this. And Heather, do you need anything else? Waiting. for you.
Nope, I'm all set. Thank you.
So with that, we can close the meeting at exactly 8:02. Thank you.
Thank
We'll have
you.
Move
Yeah,
it.
you're all set.
That's it.
That's cool.
Move
Thank
it.
you. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
I didn't do that. I just said, why don't we do?
Yep,
Thank you,
have a
guys.
good evening.
So,
I heard you, but I didn't correctly.
no, I just,
We should have done.
Did we motion to adjourn, guys? I didn't hear the time.
I did. It was
Great.
8:03.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.